Hello and welcome to this Plastics training session. In this video, we'll cover Module 3, Policy Alignment, towards a coherent and supportive framework for plastic recycling. In this module, we will cover an overview of the context of plastic recycling across Europe, as well as a series policy recommendations and reflections to improve this situation. My name is Rafa Torres and I work at Circular Economy Group at CIRCE Technology Center. The scope of my work is focused in the study of thermochemical waste valorization technologies, mainly pyrolysis and hydrothermal treatments such as carbonization or liquefaction, both at laboratory scale and at pilot scale. Within the framework of Plastic Project, I am involved in diverse tasks ranging from experimentation and testing and exploitation and dissemination of results and technologies. First of all, by way of introduction to this module, I would like to begin by emphasizing that only 20% of plastic in Europe is recycled. Meanwhile, 30 million tons are produced annually. One particular reason is the lack of knowledge about plastic waste stream and their incompatibility, which leads to inefficient recycling at all stages of the process, from initial sorting to the treatment itself. A well-known example of that is PVC, one of the most used polymers in plumbing and construction, which release chlorine and additives during the thermal treatments that includes the mechanical recycling process. This release could potentially degrade an entire batch or P or PET, being impossible to recycle and reincorporate this as a usable product to the value chain. The main challenge of mechanical recycling of plastic waste streams is that this doesn't count for the variability in the waste feedstock. Nevertheless, mechanical recycling remains the most cost-effective option and is capable of handling large waste streams. That is where chemical recycling plays a crucial role. Personally, I found it helpful to think about chemical recycling as a process that depolymerizes plastic into their structural units, acting as a breaker, which can be then reconverted and reused. For this reason, synergies between mechanical and chemical recycling should be prioritized, as they hold a great potential for industrial development, process optimization, and innovation researches. So, as have been seen within the Plastic Project, the integration of different strategies for plastic waste recycling and its valorization is pursued through the use of various technologies, as explained in the previous modules. This includes microwave-assisted pyrolysis for the production of pyrolysis oils, gasification and its subsequent treatment for the generation of high-valued chemicals, and enzymatic hydrolysis, aimed at the separation of complex textile waste streams, such as polyester cotton blends. I will now give the floor to the co-author of this module, Rocío Milagros from RINA Consulting, who will provide us with context on the legislative and regulatory landscape regarding plastic waste management. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafael, for this introduction. Hello everyone, I am Rocío Milagros Renna. I am a Technical Coordinator of Sustainable Projects at RINA Consulting. My work focuses on regulatory compliance, water efficiency, and bridging research with real-world applications. Within the Plastics project, I'm involved in replication and knowledge transfer activities, and currently I'm coordinating some workshops to showcase our findings and explore synergies with other initiatives. This first workshop have taken place in November 2025, so we invite you to check our social network and access to all the key remarks and conclusions we made, especially about textile recycling. The European Union has developed a robust regulatory framework to support circularity and resource efficiency. Key directives include the Waste Framework Directive, the Packaging Waste Directive, and the Eco-Design Directive, which is central to integrating circular economies from the design phase. So, how products are think from the very beginning is a key factor to enable the circular economies also within plastics production. We also consider REACH and CLP regulations, which ensure the chemical safety, and the Single-Use Plastics Directive, which directly addresses ocean plastics and microplastics. This is a real challenging problem that we are facing currently. These policies are not just about compliance, they are about empower consumers and their awareness in terms of why they decide to buy and consume, promote eco-labeling to enable this cultural transformation also from the consumer side, but also it's a key element in terms of the right to repair. So we can see in the waste hierarchy all the actions that are also evaluated in several dimensions inside this framework of regulations. The strategic alignment is advancing through the circular economy action plans, the Green Deal, and sectoral strategies for plastics and textiles. However, implementation varies across countries. While demo countries like Spain, Italy, Austria, France, and Turkey have transposed European directives into national law, gaps remain in terms of enforcement, ambition, and technical capacity. That's why we need to strengthen harmonization across member states, integrate circular economy practices into best available techniques, and ensure that chemical and mechanical recycling are both supported by clear and consistent rules. To support this, Plastics is actively contributing by mapping national frameworks, identifying regulatory bottlenecks, and engaging with the stakeholders to align innovation with policy. We are also open to collaboration with other projects and institutions working toward the same goals.
As we just see, the EU has built a strong policy framework to guide waste management and circularity. Within this context, mechanical recycling remains the most cost-effective option for large waste streams, while chemical recycling offers a complementary route by breaking plastics down into the building blocks. Still, chemical recycling does not yet have a clear industrial definition, which makes policy support essential in order to clarify its role. By combining incentives, standard, and harmonized policies can unlock real synergies between both methods and help meet the goals for the circular economy. Beyond the general role of policy frameworks, there are still key challenges and opportunities to address. Advanced recycling often faces regulatory barriers that limit its deployment. Stronger economic incentives and clearer market integration are needed, alongside harmonized standards and certification. Extended producer responsibility and eco-design policies can also drive more circular products from the start and across all the value chain. Finally, greater cross-sector collaboration and data sharing are essential, and a dedicated regulatory framework for chemical recycling will be critical to define its role and unlock synergies with mechanical recycling. Finally, Rocío will give us some key gaps from the implementation of that standardization.
One of the main barriers to scaling circular solutions is the fragmentation of standards, especially in emerging areas like chemical recycling. Small and medium enterprises often lack the capacity to engage in standardization processes, and update cycles are too slow to keep up with innovation. To address this bottleneck, we recommend promoting harmonized, inclusive European standards, defined economic incentives to support adoption, and aligning with European policy to accelerate market uptake. Prestige is already contributing while engaging with Zen ISO working groups, developing test methods for recycled materials, and exploring faster dissemination tools like Zen workshop agreements. I want to thank you for following our training models and for exploring the work and technologies developed within the Plastics project. We hope you found this training useful and inspiring. To stay up to date with the latest developments, we invite you to follow us on social media, subscribe to our newsletter, and reach out to our experts. Thank you so much. See you.